Yeah, and we'll just get going for today. I'm going to share this screen for our slides today. All right, beautiful. We'll get started. And so, wherever you're at, I invite you to take a moment to come into presence, to drop into your heart, to align to the frequency, the identity that you are here to embody today, right now, and for the remainder of the week. And so, closing the eyes, tuning into the breath. Can you check and see or observe the quality of your breath in this moment? Can you breathe a little more deeply? Can you relax a little more fully? Inhaling, breathing, expanding the breath, the lungs like a balloon in 360 degrees. The shoulders relax, the jaw relax, the hips, the yoni relax, anus relax. And we release with an exhale or a sigh. One more time, inhaling more deeply. Noticing where you're still trying to control, trying to hold, where there may be still a little fear, a little worry, a little density, something perhaps blocking you. And breathe into that. Exhale, release. And as any energy arises to be witnessed, just allow for it to be there. We're not trying to obliterate it with the breath. We're, in fact, with the breath, just trying to bring more light, more love, more consciousness, more care. Perhaps noticing what part of your body is still very active. Is it the mind? Do you feel energy in your heart or in your belly? Tightness in the shoulders, the jaw, the neck. And on the exhale, let it go. Relax a little bit more, create a little more space. We'll take a few more breaths, just connecting to the body, connecting to our energy in this moment. If it helps to add a little wiggle or a shake, you can do that too. Create more spaciousness. When we relax, our energy field expands. When our energy field expands, we are able to hold more naturally. When our nervous system learns to stay regulated in the expansion, that's when we come into this somatic coherence with our vision, with our identity, with where we're trying to go. And there's going to be moments of adjustment, moments where, yes, we're going to be operating more from the mind than from the body. It's natural, it happens. Yet, the invitation, the practice is to always come back to that presence, to that breath, to the body where our pleasure, where our eros lies, and where our magnetism is being stored and is available for us to tap in through that deeper embodiment, through that deeper presence and connection to the body, to the somatic body, the feeling, the sensation, and hopefully the pleasure as well. The excitement, maybe even a little bit of that adrenaline that gets us moving, that gets us going, that gets that fire started, and that opens the door for transformation. So if your eyes aren't closed already, I invite you to close your eyes, bringing one hand to the heart, one hand to the belly, taking a moment to anchor into yourself, into your being, into your heart, your vision, your why, your desire, the manifestation you're here to birth, to crystallize on here on earth. Breathing that in, taking that in, and aligning to God, Creator, Holy Mother, Father, God. Remembering that we are not here alone, that we don't have to do it alone, that we have the support of Creator and all of the universe. We have the support of this group. You have the support of me, your coach and mentor, and you have the support of so many unseen guardian angels, guides, to a spiritual team, giving thanks right now for their presence. Holy Mother, Father God, thank you, thank you, thank you for the opportunity to be alive today, to breathe, to remember, and to align to my higher vision, to the dreams and the desires we're here to manifest together. Thank you, thank you, thank you to the forces of the universe, the earth, the water, the fire, the north, the south, the east, the west, the power animals, spirit guides, angels, ascended masters, teachers, pantheon, different archetypal spiritual energies that are here to help us remember and awaken our soul, our divine blueprint. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you to each and every one of you for your time, for your attention, for your presence. Thank you for showing up, for saying yes. Thank you for being here with me. Thank you. Yeah, thank you for also trusting yourself, saying yes to your dream. Saying yes even when it's hard. Saying yes even when it doesn't feel good. Showing up. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for being present with everything that arises. And thank you for believing in yourself, believing in me, believing in God, believing in your desires. Yeah, and saying yes, leaning into the systems, the tools, the skills that are going to help you expand into this next octave of your wealth, of your business, of your impact and service. And as your eyes are closed, I invite you to bring into your third eye, into your mind's eye, the vision of you serving, whether it's online, whether it's in person. As you call forth this vision, where are you? Who are you with? How are you serving? Are you online? Are you in person? How are you acting? How are you walking? How are you behaving? Who do you feel like? This version of you, do they feel grounded? Do they feel secure, steady, precise, excited, animated, erotic, magnetic, powerful? And then expanding one octave. What are the practices that you are doing in order to be able to show up this way? What does your day-to-day practice look like? What does your embodiment practice look like? Your self-care routine? What does it look like, when you show up to your desk, to your computer? How many hours are you allocating to building your brand, building your website, building your network? How does it feel as you reach out, network to new people, plant seeds, start conversations, connect in a new way from a space of authority, from a space of leadership? What do you feel like, look like, smell like, taste like as you embody this version of you? What does your energetic structure feel like? What does your nervous system feel like? What does your posture feel like? What does your tonality sound like? Hmm. And what does your prospective client, your audience feel when they come into your field? How are they responding? What's coming up for them? Are they nervous, scared, excited? Is there hesitation or is there ease? Is there a readiness to invest, to show up? Or is there some constriction? All of that is welcome. All of that is data, information that you're going to work with. So, giving thanks to this vision, giving thanks once again to Holy Mother, Father God, Creator. Thank you, thank you, thank you for this opportunity to drop into prayer, to channel, to co create the future with you. And so it is. As you arrive, you can, yeah, turn on your screen. I see that you're here, Amy. If you feel like called to share one rose, one thorn from your week, and today's prompt for the rose and the thorn are what's working, what do you see was working, and what do you see that's in the way, or what's possibly in the way?
Um, One rose is I actually, how do I say this? A new business venture was kind of like revealed and brought forth to me through a conversation with a friend that I believe will replace my hair business since that's pretty much dead. And it feels
Mm.
really, really good. I'll share more about it later, but all weekend, like I already made the website. Um, and it's in person, it's a physical business because I just feel like I need to tap into the clientele here, and my demographic is so wealthy. And um, I feel like I needed a funnel to funnel clients to me in the real life as well, since the online stuff seems it might take a little bit longer. So I feel really good about that. I can share more later. It feels like it just combines all my stuff. So that would be my rose, I guess. And then the thorn, with that, it reveals one of my shadows is like not wanting to work hard and having the belief like I've started so many like entrepreneurial ventures in my life, and like I get really excited about them, and then I mean hair took off, but other than that, like they kind of just fall flat or die, and I haven't been able to birth something into completion, into true success. And so it's like I that manifests as not wanting to, like I'm gonna have to go to events and go to things like in person and really start to network. And it just so I have to keep being aware that in the beginning there is going to be a lot more work, and that I have the capacity to birth something to completion.
Hmm. Yeah,
Mm.
there's so much excitement, right? At the beginning of any new relationship, any new project. It's like, ooh, all the tingles, the dopamine, the potential, the possibility. But then it's that consistency, that devotion. I think I shared last week, like that what's it called, that invitation and almost that dare to like stay committed to one offering for 9 months, 1 year, like whew, like that probably sends like some signals through your body. I know it sends some to mine. And that idea of like having that be the heartbeat, and then yes, from that, there's branches of different offerings, different smaller classes, different things that can come from it. But it's so important to just honor this original promise of like, I believe in this, I'm gonna go for it for at least a full year.
Yeah, I actually was telling my friend that that feels so good to me actually to focus on one thing for a year. Um, and this thing that I'm talking about, it's an extension. It's a necessary extension of the online aspect. So I'm still gonna obviously that's like the baby that I'm raising or birthing. But yeah, it actually feels really good and stable and supportive because it gives me something like to focus on without being distracted by other things or yeah, it actually feels really good in my nervous system to think about,
Hmm.
you know, it's more grounded.
Hmm.
So it
Yeah,
gives me
and then
direction.
I love that point because it's like, right, through the commitment to that one high ticket offer, like that's the commitment to you embodying your highest self. And
Mm,
from that, so much opens up. I've personally in the last month have had so many new opportunities opening up, not in this business work, but in my other work, like people buying cacao. I'm having all of a sudden all these random in the last week people messaging me about wanting me to break curses for them and do all this shamanic energy healing out of nowhere. Like people showing up and like
wow.
people like literally asking me like how do I pay you? You know, like no convincing, like it's just
Yeah.
happening.
Wow.
And so it's also important to remember like we do have this offer suite of many different offers, different ways for money to come to reach us. And
Mhm.
by embodying that commitment, embodying the commitment to our higher self, to the identity of that wealth, that person, like other doors ways can open too. And so that's also exciting. Like, you know, it feels resonant with what you're sharing too around this new
Mhm.
opportunity.
Yeah. Yeah. It feels like doors are opening and like yeah, just I feel really supported in the things that are showing up, and I know it's just going to keep getting magnified.
Amazing. Yeah. How's it going in your class? Oh, what's going
The Queen's Code.
on? Hmm.
Well, I haven't had it since the last time that we talked, but we have it tonight, and yeah, it's going good. It feels good. Yeah, it's pretty now that I've gotten everything settled, it's just pretty easy. And it's giving me some content to work with and just like again the practice and like creating that neural pathway of like feeling confident in leadership and so yeah, it's good. It feels good.
Yeah, and how is it feeling to create now content and to post, share?
I love it. Honestly, I knew that this was in me, but I think the combination of the dieta really is what unlocked my creative energy finally. And now with this, you know, working with you, it's like giving me guidance and direction on how to use it in the 3D. So it feels so good. Every time I make a post, I'm like, ah, and I started putting the posts on TikTok too, which gets a lot more views, but um I don't feel as comfortable with TikTok because it feels a little more foreign and I can't seem to post at the same, like I can't post an Instagram post and then make it appear on my TikTok. I have to redo the whole thing. Which I'm sure there's a way to do that. But yeah, and like more ideas are coming through. I have like a bunch of things recorded on my phone that I can turn into content now. And I went to the physical therapist yesterday and it's a really bougie, nice office. And this morning I was like, damn, I should have just like recorded myself walking in there. Like, so I'm just like getting more awareness of like just sharing my life, you know, and putting it
Mhm.
out there. And it feels actually, it's feeling more natural and it feels good and it feels of service because so many people over the years have told me like, you should be sharing your life. Like, because of the way I live, you know, a lot of people are wanting that and they don't know how, but I've just been doing it for a long time. And um, so yeah, it feels good. It's
Yeah.
definitely an edge in the learning the technology piece.
Yeah. Yeah, it
Um,
takes time to integrate, but it gets better, easier,
yeah.
faster. And it's also, yeah, it's great that you are diversifying the different types of tech, apps that you're using, at some
Mhm.
point too. Now you have with YouTube, you have YouTube short videos too. That's
Mhm.
another one. And so I do think with these kinds of these other technologies like Buffer, you can time it and there might be a way to post to all of them from that one space. Um,
Mhm.
let's experiment with that this week. I'm going to do the same thing and see if that gets it on all the channels in one moment.
I
Um,
did get Buffer. I did download that. So
okay, so yeah, I'll also check it out tonight and see if that can solve that. And yeah, that's so awesome. It's good to see you. I'm like, yay, she's doing it. And then
yeah.
the next step I would say is like, um, yeah, going through and adding people, right? Adding like 10 to 20 people that you feel would be someone that fits your ideal client or
Mhm.
someone. The best way is like you find someone that's an embodiment facilitator that's offering something similar or parallel to what you're offering, and you see, the people that are commenting, posting, liking, and then you just go through them and you add them. And what I find is like, especially like the clear your I help statement is, the clear, your those posts start to show what you're doing. If people are generally genuinely interested, they'll follow you back. So
Mhm.
doing this every day has just become like, a regular habit, like brushing your teeth. I add anywhere from 10 to 20 new people, maybe 25% of them add me back. But if I do that every day, I'm adding, close to 50 to 100 new followers per month. And then that adds up.
So do you just search like hashtags, embodiment, or
Um, I mean, there's people that I follow already.
how do you find them?
So, like, just people that I'm following. Like, for example, who's this woman that you were talking about last week with David?
Oh, Sophia Tom.
Exactly. Like, someone like her, she has tons of followers. Super
Mhm.
easy to just go to one of her posts that has a lot of likes and followers. And these are our people, these are our
Oh,
tribe.
true. Okay.
Like, it's like, yeah.
Yeah.
So the women that I follow, I follow other women that are doing like somatics and coaching and business integration, and then I'm following them because it's like, okay, if this woman is offering her program because she's a bit more, maybe she has more followers, she's been longer in the game. One to one with her is probably like 20K. I'm offering it for 5K. So, there's more proximity, and so there is a chance that these people are buying with them, and there's also a chance that they're maybe just buying their low ticket offer, and that opens up the door for me to come in with a more intimate one-to-one offer while I'm still growing my business, and then giving them, that value that they would be getting from this other person. So that's kind of an organic way to grow Instagram followers.
Okay. Cool.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, the online, I mean, it's just still taking shape. It's becoming more clear. I did put my I help statement on my bio, but it still is not good enough. And it's just not, it's not the right one, but um
Yeah, it takes time, it takes a lot of grit at first. Like, one, we're learning the
yeah,
technology. Two, none, unless we studied, cinematography, like we're learning how to record ourselves, lighting, photography. There's
yeah,
so many different, aspects to being a digital content creator. Like, that's you actually what a marketer is now, is both of these. And
yeah,
so it's going to take time, it's going to take resources, it's going to take money to get the technology, to get the business, to get the identity, the embodiment. Yeah, like this is a full metamorphosis. But if we're consistent, and we're allowing ourselves to be messy and be imperfect and still get clients and use those resources to continue to reinvest into the company, into the brand over time, like, yeah, our business and our system is going to grow. Like, I see, there's this woman, Jamie Thompson, I think I showed you guys her last time. I'm gonna pull up her page because I think she's a great example of what I'm trying to express right now. So I'll share my Instagram. Jamie Show Official or something like that. Let's see.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So she's a great example. Like, obviously, she was like,
Oh no,
you know,
she's my fucking favorite podcast right now. That's who I sent. I sent one of her podcasts in our group coaching in the
yeah,
WhatsApp.
yeah,
She's
that's
like my
right.
favorite right now.
So yeah, she's an amazing example. When I looked into her, she had, she has a background in business, but
She was a hairstylist.
oh wow, amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. And then she was talking about something about helping businesses. But anyways, she got her artistry down. She's got her videos set up, everything. And all of this, it takes time. Eventually, this is the thing though, is once we get those initial 10, 20K months when you're having clients and you're showing up consistently and your own inner value, your own inner embodiment grows, it's natural then that you have a bit more resources to invest in some support in a team. At that point, you can invest in that better camera or that studio lighting or someone to help you with recording. You can hire a virtual assistant to help you with editing. Um, Obviously, you're investing in the information of like what's the top trends, the artistry piece, the branding is going to come from you, and the learning that you maybe invest into by working with different people. But then, yeah, then you hire a team to support you. You could hire a virtual assistant that, for example, does this thing where every day they're adding 50 to 100 people per day, but that's their job. So it's like, they're doing it and you have more time to be in the delivery mode. And so that's what we're working toward. But the first initial 10K is all about energetics and discipline, which is a little bit of review of what we're going to talk about. But I'll just jump into the slides now since we're getting into the class. So thank you for sharing your rose, your thorn. Okay. So we also talked a little bit this or touched on it in the prayer, your wealth identity, your scribe, your spiritual CEO identity. Who are you? What are you doing with your time? What are you investing in? What does a typical day look like for you? So as we're on this journey of embodying our spiritual CEO, our wealth blueprint, there's going to be a moment of transition from like the kind of life that we were living before to the kind of life that we're going to be living moving forward. Imagine if overnight your calendar became fully booked. Are you ready to hold that? Are you prepared? Is your home, your environment, your body, your energy prepared to hold that? And so while we're still learning the technology, we're still working, doing the inner work, the energy healing of ourself, of our past wounds, different self-worth, personal value things. It's going to take a little bit of time for that to open up, but it's such a fun journey to go on, such a creative journey of becoming this creator and identifying with the spiritual CEO and like what that looks like. Maybe it's going from like, just like waking up and being in your yoga pants all day or sweats and like throwing some things together on Instagram and like praying for, more money, more clients, to like having a strategy, having a system, waking up, having some structure, a routine. Okay, you have your desk, or you have a special place where you go and you work every day. You have a specific meditation that you practice every day to activate you and to align you to your abundance codes. Who are you talking to? Who are you spending energy with? Who are you listening to? If you don't have like a bunch of wealthy friends around you, the best thing that you can do is like, yeah, listen to, a few different podcasts of like wealth, spiritual CEOs, people that are embodying the wealth that you're wanting to embody as well, because you're then going into their field, and that's the closest thing that you can have. So, you know, I'm like, in my case, for example, maybe in my personal like community here in PSAC, there are a lot of these types of archetypes. There's a lot of people that are embodying this full archetype, but I can be in this energy by being in mentorship groups with these type of people, by listening to their podcasts, reading their books, and coming into their field. um, what we know from like Gestalt um, psychotherapy, psychology. It's like when we connect to the spirit of someone, we receive codes and we'll receive inspiration. Obviously, it's not going to be as great as like working them one to one, but there's a lot of insight that we can receive just by being in their and in their energy. So there are ways to embody our wealth identity, to embody the spiritual CEO, even if right now our current reality isn't the that specific perfect mirror, we can bring it in, call it in through these different practices. So who are you? What are you doing with your time? What are you investing in? What does a typical day look like? I think you, Amy, are someone, just from what I know about you, that's very set up on the earth plane to have this expansion come in. I feel like, yeah, you have a beautiful practice, a beautiful discipline, your home, your office, everything. So now it's like really about opening up that field to receive through the expression of your creativity, the play, the pleasure, the joy of embodying the branded marketer that you're leaning into, and I'm getting to see now as well.
Yeah, I feel like this other business it gives me a way to be in this community of like wealthy people rather than this new
Mm,
age spiritual community, but I created this, like, it's like a bridge. It allows my spiritual self to come through, but without being something that's like too much for them, and then creates the gateway for them to come in to work with me deeper. But it feels like really part of the beauty of it is being around like really wealthy people.
mhm.
I feel like that like will kind of uphold my frequency and support that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. Like being around wealthy people, wealthy, it's like you don't necessarily have to have adopt all of the same values, but it's like being in their field, you're seeing how they spend money, how they move with money, how money flows through them. And unfortunately, there is distortion in the spiritual community when it comes to how money flows and moves. I find that in the new age community, money is super tied to personal value, self-worth, and when someone's on the healing journey, which many times people come to the new age or spiritual community for healing, they're still working out their self-worth. They're still healing that relationship with their inner parents, their inner masculine, their inner feminine. And so the energy can be distorted or out of balance. And usually a bit more hyper feminine than, and there's a lack of this masculine structure because of course, a lot of them are healing from the patriarchy, from this more masculine type of system, capitalism, etc. So then they'll go the opposite way. But obviously we know, like, from walking the spiritual path, that on the higher levels, one, like, duality ceases to exist, and really we learn to move with masculine and feminine energies in harmony and balance, which brings me to this slide. I feel like I mentioned it last week, but I want to bring it up again, and I made a post about it. It came very clear. Like, my coach came to me in my dream and was like, if you're stuck under 20K months, the work is about discipline and boundaries. And it was like, tell this to your people, focus on this with your clients, because it's all about that energetic alignment, that integrity, that energetic structure. And so if we can get our masculine up to date, we can upgrade our masculine energy so we have those strong boundaries, we're not leaking energy, we have that discipline, that drive, that motivation, that focusedness, that commitment to our dream. It's a matter of then leaning into the feminine, the higher form of the feminine, which is trust, which is faith, which is, yeah, releasing, letting go, flowing with, and so it's this dance, right, of really strengthening the masculine so that then the feminine can thrive. And so part of establishing our wealth identity is recognizing where we're leaking energy in our relationships, and how we're spending our time. Um, strengthening our boundaries, our discipline, making sure we're not on social media too much. Social media, it just opens up this like can of worms where we then, if we get pulled into it, we can start to compare, or we can have self-doubt, or yeah, just also distract ourselves, numb ourselves out, and that's not what we need. When we go on social media, we want to think like a creator, not like a consumer. So we go on social media to create, to share, and to connect, to network, which is now this next phase of Somaticka that we're in, where we're going to be reaching out to those new people, adding new people to follow, no, following new people and creating new conversations, new connections with new people. If we follow new people, we send a like, we kind of get into their field, we start to work with the art of seduction, of like slowly, not like that's the old model of selling, like slowly easing into their field with that genuine curiosity, not with this salesy like what's the word I'm looking for, like we have a specific outcome that we're trying to get from them. It's really important at first to create safety and connection, so we want to come at it without an expectation, without that forceful, like we're trying to get something out of this energy, transactional energy, and more so coming in with this openness, this curiosity, and this smile of like what's possible, of what's a possibility. So as you grow, your challenges evolve. Under 20K months, it's all about distant boundaries and emotional regulation as well. It's like, it's the other side, the feminine side of discipline and boundaries. Because if we're not regulated emotionally, oh my God, yeah, it's super easy. Something happens in our life, boom. Now we're taking a week to process it. And then we're losing momentum. And then it takes us a whole week to get back the momentum. And part of becoming a professional, of embodying our wealth identity, our spiritual CEO identity, is learning how to regulate our emotions. Perhaps, I wouldn't say it's like not detach, but to contain the emotions. Like if something comes up, like, yes, we need to process it, we need to feel it, but we're going to contain it. Like we're going to give it a time and a date, and that's going to be the moment when we have our ceremony, and we're going to know that there's an opening and there's a closing, and that when that closes, it's time to shift into our CEO identity, because we have a mission that we have to show up for. And many times it's actually the showing up to the mission and doing the things that we said we were going to do that heals us more than just being overly emotional and just letting the emotion and the chaos be the one to run the show. And then once you get past those 20K, the idea is then you start to delegate, you create systems, leadership, you put your business on, or on ads. The idea, the thing with ads is like it's kind of a gamble. So in order to like really even like make an impact, you want to estimate that you want to put like down like almost like 2K a month in ads, whether that's Facebook, Instagram, up to you. But 2K a month is just touching the surface of like the amount of money you want to invest into your business to use ads in a way to grow your audience. And then, but the thing is like getting to that 20K where you can spend 10% of your income on ads, which is a gamble, which you're not sure at first if you're going to get back or not. Like you have to kind of give that money without attachment, kind of just not expect too much at the beginning, because it's going to also take some time to, figure out which ads work best, because it's all an experiment. But that's kind of the roadmap that we're on. It's like, okay, we're gonna get to those 10 to 20K months first, using aligning to or what's possible as far as like our offers goes, really going for that one unique high ticket offer that is going to showcase our value, and really put that energy into opening up that possibility of getting that 1 to 5 clients per month to make that happen. And then over the course of the year, between payment plans, between private clients, between other opportunities, then if you're staying devoted and committed and consistent, you will get there. There's no doubt. And then at that point, okay, time to expand and then time to grow, and then investing into perhaps more coaching, more systems, delegating tasks to perhaps a virtual assistant or two. There's also people that are you can hire as openers and closers to open conversations with people in the DMs and to also close on discovery calls. And then that way you can just focus on delivery. But it's a natural growth process. Like those first clients that you're getting to deliver your service, and they're going to teach you about yourself, about the transformation you offer. Your value is going to increase. You're going to feel better about yourself. And that is going to naturally expand your energetic capacity to receive more, to do more, to deliver more. And then it's growing that your structure, your energetic capacity then is growing in integrity. And when there's that true integrity, that's when you feel safe, and people also feel that as well as they come into your field. And so, we've been talking about this idea of commitment, about the masculine, right? And the healed masculine is the father, the beloved. It's that Shiva, that unwavering stillness, commitment, right? Focus, unwavering. And so we get to embody sacred union through the practice of building a business, through the journey of being an entrepreneur. It's especially if we don't have a partner, or in my case I have a partner but we don't have that much drama in our relationship. Like my business is my partner, and that's where the alchemical transformation is happening. My business is the vehicle for my soul expansion. My money journey, my business, my clients, they're all my mirrors. It's like I'm living tantra. I'm weaving, I'm expanding, I'm working with energy, polarizing, mastering masculine and feminine, and I'm working with business in a very sacred way, because it's my business is that vehicle for my expansion. Yes, relationship is vehicle for expansion in many ways, but also our business can be too, and money, our relationship with money more than anything. Because just imagine how much impact you could have as a spiritual person if you had more money. We've talked about this in the past, like the kind of projects we invest to, recycling, water protection, children, education, arts. I'd love to support all my artists friends, buy their art, and etc. And with money there is more, we get more spiritual power. It's through the material realm that spirit expresses itself. So this isn't just sacred union between masculine and feminine. We're talking also about sacred union between heaven and earth and heaven. Mother, Holy Mother, Pachamama, or Great Spirit, Great Father. And this is the new paradigm of leadership, of wealth acquisition. This is the time for us new leaders to rise, to not separate ourselves from money, from wealth, uh, and to see wealth as the vehicle that is going to expand our soul's ability, power, impact, and also going to, it's one of the ways to kind of fight the system by going into the system. Um, until we dismantle capitalism, like we get to work with it. And it's capitalism isn't all bad, as well as like socialism isn't all good. There's like a middle place between capitalism and socialism where we can rest, where we can be kind of like those Robin Hood, where we make money and then we allocate it to the projects that we desire and need. And you and Amy have talked about taxes, and there's so many different ways to get smart about wealth management, wealth stewardship. We can, donate to nonprofits. That way, our tax dollars are going toward the projects that we do want. And we make peace too with the tax system, recognizing that it's part of it's part of the system. It's part of operating in the business realm. There's going to be taxes, there's going to be fees, There's going to be like a website, is going to charge you to take money, and this is all part of what makes it run. And every time that that money kind of gets spent, it's good to look at whether we contract or whether we're at ease with how those investments are moving, understanding that, hey, if we have this product, we have this website, or we can do e-commerce, where we can sell, where we can coach, and it costs us $20-50 a month. Well, I'm super grateful for that, because it's a lot cheaper to pay, Zoom $30 a month to try to travel all the world, and, even travel down the street to offer a workshop to clients that may or may not be able to afford my services. So we want to start, we want to not start, we want to embody that wealth consciousness in every aspect, in how we're spending, how we're investing, how we're moving, and recognizing, how our body responds when we spend, when there's different fees or bills that come up. And also recognize how money is just acting as a mirror for our expansion, for our growth as well, and how the triggers and the cringe are truly just portals to greater transformation, greater awareness. Speaking of cringe, this idea of sales, a lot of people find cringy, or it's an edge for a lot of people to talk about sales, to sell, to pitch, to talk about the price, to bring up the money aspect. And why is that? Well, it's probably because we've been conditioned to see sales as the enemy in a nation, in a society where trust is kind of going extinct because of how fucking crazy and all the things are going in the government and authority, like has essentially made us lose our trust. We as a society have lost trust. And then on top of it, when propaganda media is constantly trying to, or better said, when media is really just propaganda trying to influence us into certain kinds of behaviors, this mistrust is actually a good thing. This is what is, allowing for consciousness to awaken. It's this questioning, this, taking an extra moment to really feel into, what is this true or is this not? And so this is what people are calling in marketing the trust recession. There's a lack of trust. So it's going to impact our sales, because now we have to show why we're trustworthy a bit more than, say, in the past, when there was more trust in authority and leadership. And also in the past, there wasn't as much information available. There wasn't as many coaches out there. There wasn't social media technology. Like, if someone showed up at your door to sell and they're the only person that showed up the last month, well, you're probably more likely to trust them than if you're in the current situation, getting people every day. You're getting random freaking phone calls from people, that are literally cold calling. And then that's the cringe, right? Like I'm one of those person, I'm guilty. Like, someone calls me a number, I don't even pick up. If I happen to pick up and it's like a recording or it starts, I hang up. I think the only people that do even listen are like the older generations, because they're coming from this other time when there was more trust. Where now, with the trust recession, it takes a lot more for a person to buy. And so, yeah, we're gonna feel at first like sales are a bit more cringy. If we don't have any training in sales, if we haven't done the mindset work around sales, it's gonna feel a little uncomfortable, and that's okay too. But it doesn't have to stay that way. And this art of sales, or this game, however you need to gamify it or word it, is also a huge mirror as well, as you dive in. And I'll speak from personal experience. Like, yeah, we want to get good, not at rejection, because we don't want to expect rejection, but we have to understand that rejection is a part of the game. And it's nothing personal. It's not that we'd have to, like I said, we don't have to expect rejection, because if we're a talented salesperson and a good communicator, it's not going to feel one like rejection. Two, and when we have the right mindset, even rejection is a lesson, is a teaching, is data that offers us an opportunity to look back and see, okay, why is the rejection even there? Maybe we didn't qualify good enough. Maybe we thought they were a possible client because of they had these certain factors, but in reality, they're not. And so, had we never even tried to talk to them or even begin the conversation, never have received that rejection, then we wouldn't know how to course correct from there. And so this is why like that self-worth is really peace. We got to be really anchored in our self-worth, our value and our mission and our why, because that is like the altar that we come back to when the difficult or more sticky conversations come up, where we receive objections, where we receive rejection. And then again, once again, it's mirroring back to us. Where are we on that self-worth journey? Or are we taking it's personal, or are we able to detach a bit, come into that more masculine CEO identity and just see it as numbers, as data, as information? And yes, we've been trained to see sales. It's like there's this energy around sales where we think, oh, this person's gonna like take something from us, or like this car salesman's gonna like rip us off or whatever. People are hyper, what's the word? Like hypercritical, like pessimistic. Most of the time, people are gonna try to look for the holes in your information more than not. I will say this is nuance in that when we're working in the more of the healing industry, energy healing, somatic healing, embodiment, there's a bit more trust, I would say, and a bit more heart-centeredness, a bit more openness, which then I would say is that invitation to be in that greater integrity, because then we as like new earth leaders, we want to be in integrity, and that what we're offering is really of service to the person. Some people are in a delicate state, some people are very impressionable, easily influenced, and we get to be that bridge between like the kind of salesperson that has other motives and the salesperson that's in integrity, which is us, that's selling because it's actually a service, because it's actually supporting this person in getting the desired outcome quicker, faster, better. We're sharing with them the things that we have learned, giving them shortcuts to the years and years that it took for us to heal, for us to learn, to get to the place that we are now, and that we can be in leadership, that we can lead others, and this one's the main one, lead ourselves through that embodiment of that CEO, that wealth identity, that leader, that service provider. And so we want to start seeing more and more sales as a service. I say here, our service doesn't end with the creation of an offer. Our service ends when the client buys the offer we sold them. So it's our job as a service provider to place our product in front of those that need it most. And that looks like branding, marketing, reaching out to people, talking about our offer, embodying our offer, embodying that identity. And it gets easier and easier, funner and funner, and it does integrate, and in a good way, especially through the Somaticka method, because this is what we're here to do, is that we're here to embody this organically, somatically, in a way that feels authentic, in integrity, and coherent. And so yeah, we start to see that sale as a portal to transformation. And there's this important aspect of a sale where there's a sacred energy exchange of energy, money, that is happening. And even ancestral healing traditions that I've worked with, like for example, in Africa, the priest, like it's very important that there is an energetic exchange for the magic, for the healing to happen. There needs to be an investment, a sacrifice. And when we can see that money is sacred as well, we work through that mindset work that we are constantly rewriting our relationship with money. We see money as sacred, money as love, money as reciprocity, money as appreciation, then and money as sacrifice, right? Then when people sacrifice a certain amount of money, the value, the amount of money is going to be, or should be at least, equal to the value they're going to receive. And so some people would say, like, the greater the investment, the greater the transformation, even. And so we want to see money and transactions as that way too, as something that is just like a law of the universe. And so a sale is a portal to transformation for our potential clients, for our prospective clients. It's the portal to them having more wealth, more freedom, love, happiness, fulfillment, success, healing, a better quality of life. And this, obviously, it's invaluable. Like, truly, I mean, it's hard to put a specific dollar amount, but it's like magic, like how money really impacts how much a person invests energetically into the transformation. And this is a huge piece around coaching and why coaching is such a thriving industry. It's because, like, literally, what people don't change unless there's like some fire under their ass. And money is a great way to create that fire, to put a bit of pressure for a person to create transformation faster. When you invest, you want to see a return in investment. So you're going to go fucking hard, right? To make sure that that is accomplished. And so sometimes the greater the investment, not sometimes, most of the time, almost always, the greater the investment, the greater the transformation. And it's also important to recognize, even for yourself, like, what is that threshold for you? Like, how much do you need to invest to get yourself moving? And then thinking about your clients, how much would your clients need to invest to get moving? And usually, yeah, like sometimes with the free things, they're great. It's great for building an audience. It is great for building trust, for building connection, opening up your network. But again, a lot of people are just here consuming, consuming, consuming. So if you're offering something for free, they may just consume it or not take it as seriously as if someone that had to invest, even if it's something small, something, it's as a placeholder to make them show up. And so yeah, it's for us to experiment with different offerings, but just knowing that that's definitely a law of energy in place. And so, as a sales and marketing wizard, it's your job to educate prospective clients on why and how your product is the best option, the best bet slash method for them to get their desired outcome. And we have to see, yeah, I put the word bet here because every time someone invests, they are taking a risk. They're betting on you as a leader, essentially, to give them what they need. Of course, there's a part of that is that where they need to take self-responsibility, and it's not our, if we are showing up in integrity and we're giving them the tools, the method, the roadmap, and doing our best to coach them, we can only go as so far too as teachers and guides. It's also their responsibility. But the what marketing is, what selling is educating them on why, how that product is the best option. And it's helping them see that. And depending on the kind of, what's the word I'm looking for, the strategy that you're going to speak to them. Every person is different. For some people, they need like a lot of information to feel secure in making that choice, for different reasons. Maybe they're scared, so maybe that you need to be compassionate and share with them the different results that you've given, or you talk about your own personal story and how it's transformed, and really meet them at an empathic level. There are some people that are a bit more cocky, that think that they already know. So then the strategy would be to poke holes in their idea, kind of shift their mindset, open up the perspective to see where there's maybe holes or gaps, and room for them to lean in, grow, receive. And so depending on the person and their personality, it's going to change a little bit how you educate them. But the the idea is that we're educating them. We're wanting to eliminate any of their doubts. And even if it's a money objection, we want to get really clear, like, and qualify them, like asking them questions like, well, say if money wasn't an issue, do you feel that that this product is going to offer you what you need to get XYZ outcome? Once we get their commitment to the outcome beyond the money situation, then we can come back and talk about, different options, payment plans, what feels safe for them, kind of get some clarity on why maybe the offer feels, a little risky for them. We want to find out, is this just out of the question? Like, is this going to take away from your food and shelter? Or is it like sticker shock? Like, is this just something that just surprising us that we need a little time to integrate? What about a deposit or a payment plan? Is this realistic? So we have a conversation. We become curious about their situation, always holding them to that high standard of what's possible, of holding them to their higher vision, reminding them of, like, this is where you want to go. And this is what coaches are for. We're here to train them, to coach them, to help them, to be that guide, that mentor, that teacher that teaches them the roadmap, that holds them to that roadmap to get there. And it doesn't have to be something that's like a tangible result like money. It can be also an intangible result, like um, better health, better relationships, better relationship with themselves, their sexuality, etc., their nervous system healing, all of the different beautiful and powerful modalities that you're all offering. So we're just do a little Somaticka check-in. How does it feel in your body to sell, to talk about, introduce your service to a potential client? And, if you sold other products, it may be really easy to sell a product that's not attached to your identity, to your brand, to your self-worth. So in this case, like, refining the question to really feel into what would it feel like to talk about and sell an offering that is your soul offering.
Yeah, it
Just noticing what comes up. Yeah.
feels a little like intimidating. Uh, and actually doing it in person, like with this other business, that feels more intimidating because
Mm,
there's like an actual person I'm talking to. And then when I'm posting stuff on the internet, I mean, I haven't had an opportunity to sell to one specific person. It's still like more selling to a broad
mm,
group of people, and that feels a little easier.
mm-hmm,
It's not as intimate.
mm-hmm. Yeah, well, yeah, I think, yeah, exactly. Well, and that's like the branding aspect and the marketing and the social media posting and content creation. It's like we want to create copy that speaks to our potential client, to our audience, and from that creates a spark of connection, resonance that then opens up the conversation. But yeah, once we're in the conversation, you know, that's when, okay, we want to check in our body. We're going to be going into this a bit more tomorrow too, around how to move through that space, because that's where the sales are happening, right? In these one-to-one conversations, on the discovery calls. Yeah, it would be great, like, to be like this Jamie show official where she's at now, and she doesn't have to do as many sales calls. People are probably like magnetized to her work because of her reputation, because of her audience size. People can see it, feel it. There's a lot of like evidence, I guess. Um, but then there's still going to be a point where the funnel is going to take them to check out. And if they don't check out right away, to a possible discovery call. And that's where we get into the psychology bit, which of course, it's going to be intimidating at first if you have never done it before. But I also feel like that on the other side of that intimidation is so much potential because you've never done it. And so, like, like if we can get excited about it, if we can create a kink around that potential, that's where we want to be. Like, all right, it's a little hard, it's going to hurt a little bit, but then there's also so much pleasure on the other side when we finally, make it work. And so, um, yeah, it's exciting to get into this piece because this is where there's even more room for growth in that vehicle of expansion, or where we get to really see ourselves through that mirror of taking people through these calls. Um, so yeah, just thinking about your ideal client in relation to your Somaticka offer that we've curated up until now. How would you intuitively approach a prospective client? And then the next question kind of ties into that. How do you recognize if someone is a prospective client? So let's say in the online space, or I may say in an in-person networking event, or outing. Um, yeah, just kind of feel into, like, just from your own intuition, how would you intuitively approach a prospective client and recognize them? What would be the how would you would recognize them?
Mm. Oh, I don't know yet. I think this week will be good practice in like looking online at, people's websites and just even feeling in my body what it feels like when I see someone that I think would resonate
Okay.
with, yeah, what I'm offering.
And I want to ask this question. How would you intuitively approach a beautiful man that you're interested in?
I don't know. I've never seen one.
All right.
Um, Probably playfully
Okay. Yeah.
irritate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that's something that, yeah, to notice, because there's like, I think I mentioned this too before, like sales psychology actually was born from dating psychology, and there's a lot of parallels in how to open conversation, how to influence, seduce people, um, and it's very similar. And so there's an interest, a similar energy there. Obviously, when we're working with men or women, there's going to be a little bit of a difference, but as the feminine, play, pleasure is one of our highest expressions. It is the expression of the lighter side of the feminine, that playfulness, that ease, that seduction, that pleasure, that yeah, like bringing women into a field of possibility, of pleasure, of empowerment, right? Through that energy that's so feminine and so sacred is a method. There's also like a more masculine approach, which could be like more of an educational, authoritative, like leader, which is also very valuable in another way. And we get to kind of play with both as we get to know the people that we're working with and who our client is, and as we go through the motions of practicing sales calls, discovery calls, and qualifying people, and yeah, going through all of it, it's an interesting experience. I won't say it's not, but you get better at it. It gets easier. You become less attached to the outcome, and you learn a lot about people as well. I was always someone that was waiting for people to approach me, waiting for the man to approach me. And now I have to be on the other side, and I get to explore that. And like I said, use business, money, this client entrepreneurial journey as a mirror for my expansion, where it's like, okay, maybe it was easy for me to like attract a certain type of person in the past, but now maybe I'm challenged in this area. Great, I get to grow and expand now. So, selling as a service, the new model of sales. This is a book that I recommend called The New Model of Selling. Selling to an Unsellable Generation, Jerry Akuf and Jeremy Miner. They have a podcast, Jeremy Miner, I believe. I'll post it in the WhatsApp group and in the portal. But these people like worked with Tony Robbins, trained millions, thousands of people in sales. They've been studying sales and trends for many generations. And this is a great book, $10, and talks about sales. It rewrites your relationship with sales, understanding it from a more modern perspective. And this author also, one of the authors, maybe it's both of them, they also have a playbook. I think it's called the NEQP playbook. I have a PDF of it, so I can also drop it in the resources as well. But this is a playbook of questions that you take prospective clients through, people on discovery calls or when you're networking, to find out and qualify them as potential clients. So those are amazing resources that we're going to be using as school material. So I recommend that book. I think you have to buy the paperback, but once you have the paperback, inside of it there is an option to get like a PDF version of it. So yeah, just so you know that. And then there are apps you can pay and like upload the book and they'll read it to you, which is another way to digest books and information in a very quick way. So this new model of sales that we're speaking to is, contrasting the old model of sales versus this new model of sale. In the old model of sales, it was built on pressure, persuasion. You know, they talk about how, there's this idea, there's the myth that it's a numbers game. But I like how he talks about it. The author talks about it because he was like, if it was a numbers game, then there would be a lot more successful people out there. He uses neuropsychology that he to in this format of asking questions that's very intuitive and also strategic to help people come to an informed decision. And so that's the method that we're going to be using, is practicing curiosity. As I said here, rooted, it's this new model of sales is rooted in presence, empathy, curiosity, and deep listening. The more we can listen to what the person is saying, the more more success we're gonna have in the conversation. It's gonna become less personal about us and more about revealing to the prospective client what they want, where their gaps are, where their blockages are, where they need more information, etc., leading them down the frameworks toward the pitching of the offer, pre-framing objections, handling objections, changing, transforming their mindset, transforming their life, and hopefully opening that portal to that greater transformation and desired outcome through the final exchange, commitment, deposit, sale received, money received. And so we're removing this idea that selling is manipulation. It's not manipulation, it's service. Sales are a key factor of you being able to deliver the impact and the transformation you are here to serve. Without selling, it's your impact and transformation is going to be less. And unless you're a huge influencer, have millions of followers, and can impact people every day and influence people every day for free, until then, through the containers that we're selling, that's where we're going to be delivering the greatest impact and transformation. Even if you are that influencer, when you're working with people one-to-one, when you're in that close proximity, that's where the greatest transformation happens. And so when part of, I want you to just think about sales calls, an opportunity for you to truly listen to someone's story, reflect it back to them, and then hold them in possibility. And this is something that they maybe rarely experience, being deeply seen and heard. And that's where our coaching and our leadership truly begins. And this is what makes your offer irresistible. Your presence is the medicine. Your service, your coaching begins with the discovery call. It's an opportunity for people to feel your energy and to experience transformation through the call. I don't sell to convince, I sell to serve transformation. Something that I recognized in my selling technique that I'm now editing is this there's a myth, and I love this book because it was talking about it. There's this idea that, oh, if we're super excited, the other person's going to be excited too. Well, this is only going to work with certain kinds of people. Some people are gonna yes resonate with your excitement, and they're gonna dive right in because they trust you, because they love you, because they feel your excitement. They're like your vibe. I'm not gonna say that that's not the case for some people. But then there's other people that don't make decisions based on excitement. They're more balanced maybe in that masculine and feminine energy. They need facts, they need data. And actually too much excitement can come off as like you're trying to sell them. Whereas if you're a bit more neutral, it might land for them even better. Being neutral, being anchored in your worth, where you don't have to over exaggerate the sale or what you're offering. Like it's like you know what it's worth, so you deliver it neutrally. At the end of the day, you while you are trying to sell, you also have that buyer's mentality because you know that by you opening up a container with this person you're selling to, like you're allowing them in your energetic field and space. And this is also something that you have discernment around. And so you're qualifying them just as much as they're qualifying you. And you want to be in this kind of like lean back frequency of like, why wouldn't they need or purchase my product? It's like, you know the value of your product. You know that your product is going to offer them the quickest, shortest route to their desired outcome. Of course they want your product. Now, you relax and you hold space, you facilitate the conversation, listening, asking these questions, finding out where they're at without attachment, without trying to force or manipulate, just holding space, and also witnessing your nervous system. This is going to be a big piece of the Somaticka method. It's like speaking, but then also being always present to how we're feeling, what energy we're emanating. Because again, especially in the new earth where people can perceive subtle energy in a greater degree, like deep integrity, deep authenticity is what's going to create that coherence, that congruence, that trust that is going to open up people to try to lean in and purchase and invest in your offer. And so again, it's a review, but also just more reminders of how to anchor in the strategy, attraction, content. Branding is what establishes our identity. I mentioned last week, it's you selling yourself to yourself. You convincing yourself of your worth, of your value, at the same time sharing that with the world. And many times we're selling to a past version of ourselves. So we're also selling to ourselves in that quantum way of thinking of like, oh yeah, you're selling to the past version of yourself. Branding is loving, seeing, honoring your brilliance, showing your embodiment, sharing that identity, your daily practices, your philosophy, your values. It's also the other part of being seen for your gifts, your achievements, your method, your philosophy, your values. Conversion content, which is marketing. Conversion meaning it converts into a sale, it converts into income. And it's marketing, and this is where we establish authority. One is establishing identity, the other one is establishing authority. We establish authority by speaking to our ideal client. When we speak to our ideal client, because we're speaking directly to their pain, their desires, their future version, that is what's going to sell our ideal client. It's going to help them sell themselves because they're going to resonate, because they're going to feel attracted. And this ideally is what we want to get locked in, because once someone likes, resonates, comments, DMs, a certain word, call to act, when they respond to these call to actions, then we know that they're not coming in as a completely cold prospective client. They're coming in as medium to hot. And that gives us more influence and power as the person that's going to be selling them the offer, because we already know that there is resonance, there already is permission. We've captured permission through that through their call to action, through that resonance. And that opens up permission for us to kind of lean in and see what's going on. Plant that seed. What's going on back there? What's happening? Ask some questions. Network. And so, yeah, we want our content to mirror their inner dialogue so powerfully that they say, oh my God, this is me, you know? And I want you to notice in your own day to day, it's like when someone posts something and you stop from scrolling, you know, you're scrolling and someone says something and it calls to you. Now, you know, take that third person perspective, observe yourself, observe the interaction that's happening between you and this copy. What is it about this copy? What it is about this post that magnetized you, that stopped you from all the million other things you could be paying attention to? Was it, you know, the language? What did they speak to? This is a great example of what you need to do, because if you're resonating with this message, so are your people going to be resonating with this message, your soul clients, your soul tribe. And so this is also a great way to witness yourself, witness what you're attracted to, and also gain inspiration. It doesn't need to be all the time either, because, you know, we want to also really lock in what our unique way of doing things is. But, you know, there is a healthy amount of inspiration we can gather from outside of us before it becomes not healthy. If we're comparing too much, if we're looking outside too much, then we're going to dilute our own truth and our own authentic way of sharing, that then is going to, which then is going to be less magnetic, less potent than if we're really tapped into our uniqueness and our magic. And yes, conversion con is you educating your audience on who you help, what outcome you provide for them, why you help, how you help them. And I would add, like, testimonials, case studies are the evidence for this that is very valuable in creating, establishing this authority. When both are aligned, your brand becomes magnetic. People are drawn to your frequency, not just your words. So, as a final kind of exercise, reflect in your journal for today, moving into tomorrow. Where in my life or business am I not being fully authentic? What boundary or discipline would align me to my desire of 10 to 20K months? How can I create more integrity in my daily life? How do I need to shift my identity to be more congruent with my future self? How does my body feel when I'm in integrity versus when I'm performing? And what does coherence feel like in my nervous system? If you want to, like, take a snapshot of this, you work throughout the day. I want to give you guys just a couple minutes right now to just, yeah, be in the field of these questions, even if it's just in your mind, to mull over them a little bit as we're here together, because these questions are going to point to where there's maybe leaks in your energy, where there's room for you to also stop these leaks, right? And yeah, this isn't to make you feel bad, to question yourself, but this is to help you to grow, to mirror to you what's possible, to mirror to you that you are worthy of all of your desires. You are worthy of your dreams. And we want to get to the bottom of maybe why it's not manifesting yet, and how to align your energy, align your actions to be in alignment, in coherence with the path to making that a reality. All right. So tomorrow we're going to go into somatic sales, the art of sacred connection. We're going to get inside Somaticka wealth method. And actually, we're going to we're changing Somaticka wealth method to Somaticka wealth blueprint, because I feel like this is the evolution of the work. Blueprint is also a new kind of catchy word that makes sense. This is a blueprint as well. So I'm excited to get into that tomorrow. We're going to get into the frameworks, into how to start those conversations, yeah, developing this conversation that we started last week, going deeper and deeper into how to make it all happen.
Okay.
All right, my love. Where did I go? There I am. Have a beautiful rest of your day. And send me a message. I want to hear about the project.
Yeah, I'll send you the website and the all that. I think it's going to be a perfect funnel. Um, I've got something has to replace hair because that's just gone almost. So
God's like, nope, this is it. Not another Scorpio season with this in your.
the parent, but I feel like this way that it's like I'm still meant to be in like kind of a beauty-ish industry, but I'm being called to restructure that based on a higher version of myself. So
Good.
yeah, I'll send it to you.
Cool. All
Um,
right, my love. See you
I'm
tomorrow.
curious how your birthday went, but you can message me. Your
Okay,
birthday.
sounds good.
All
All right,
right.
love. Ciao, ciao.